COVID-19 cases dropped to lowest in more than 8 months. Senior citizens and children are now allowed on public transportation in Metro Manila. And Filipino activists here and abroad join rallies against climate change. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Riza Diaz. More parks in Metro Manila are opening up for visitors as COVID-19 restrictions are relaxed further. So let's check in on the situation on the ground. We have Lynn Olivario. She's joining us live from Bonifacio Shrine. Lynn, good evening. Can you tell us how things are going there?
Riza, families are taking the chance to take their kids to parks in Manila following NCR shift to COVID-19 alert level 2.
It's the first time of twins Thea and Zia to experience being out in public. Born in 2020, they haven't had the chance to go to recreational parks due to COVID-19. But since Metro Manila is now under alert level 2, they can now enjoy the outdoors. Parks, plazas, public gardens, and scenic viewpoints are now open. Indoor venues are allowed to accommodate a maximum of 50% capacity. This includes even those unvaccinated who are below 18 years of age. Outdoor venues, meanwhile, are allowed to operate at 70% capacity. With this, their mom, Christina, did not pass up on the chance to bring them to Luneta Park. Together with her son, sister, niece, and friend, they let the kids run around the area. They took selfies and groupies in front of the Jose Rizal Monument and the Japanese Garden.
Okay naman po, malinis, masaya. May mga ilang lugar lang na bawal puntahan, pero importante parang okay naman na po. Nakakatakbo na yung mga bata.
Pagkatapos mag-picture, face mask agad, parang adapt na ng mga tao, parang nasanay na din sila na ganito. May disiplina yung mga tao na nagkukusa.
A toy vendor said eased restrictions in parks is beneficial for business. He used to earn only 700 pesos a day, but on Saturday, it went up to 1,500 pesos, although it is still a far cry from sales during the pre-pandemic Christmas season.
Opo, pabor na pabor po talaga yun. Kasi mga bata talaga ang kailangan hinahanap namin sa paninda namin eh. Pag walang bata sa labas, wala kaming kita.
The only drawback is that visitors are not allowed to bring food inside Luneta.
Yun nga lang po, nakakadismaya kasi kailangan po namin lumabas para bumili ulit ng pagkain. Sinunod na lang po namin yung bawal. Importante po nakapasok kami.
Visitors at the Bonifacio Shrine also enjoy their Sunday despite the gloomy weather. Kids were seen running around, taking photos, while others were just relaxing.
Riza, as expected, more people are coming here at the Bonifacio Shrine Public Park to watch the dancing fountain. It operates from 6:30 p.m. until 9:30 in the evening. Riza?
Thank you, Lynn. That's Lynn Olivario reporting live again from Bonifacio Shrine. Meanwhile, with a sudden shift to alert level 2, allowing, of course, the private sector to recoup losses from lockdowns earlier this year. Let's get answers straight from a presidential advisor for entrepreneurship, Mr. Joey Concepcion. He's joining us live via Zoom. Sir Joey, good evening.
Good evening, Riza.
So, Joey, was the shift to alert level 2 just in time, or would you say it's a little too late for at least the businesses to help these businesses that we have recover by the end of the year?
No, definitely not. Riza, as early as August, when we called for the 2-week early lockdown by our group, the private sector, Okta advised us that they see that cases will go up, and for us to save the fourth quarter, we have to push for the lockdown. And fortunately, at that time, Secretary Galvez agreed with the private sector and, of course, the Metro Manila mayors who joined us. No? So it was a very bold step. And I'm glad that we were proven right because cases started to go up starting September. And cases definitely started to come down in October as predicted by our partner of the research. No? So we see that while alert level 2 could have been brought down much earlier, I think it's still fine because we have close to 2 months still for the MSMEs to be able to recover whatever they can recover in terms of cash flow to be able to sustain whatever obligations they have to pay, between the banks, their home mortgages, of course, the 13-month pay to their employees, and all of these. No? And I think we will definitely have a strong fourth quarter. And the
So,
reason
Joey,
being, yeah.
please continue. Sorry, sir.
And the reason being is that on top of Christmas spending, you'll have also people starting to spend in the election. So that will somehow help.
Definitely. Sir, do we have an estimate of as to the number of businesses that will reopen or expected to resume operations?
I don't have the count because there are, of course, some of these businesses that may not be able to open because they've run out of cash. They've been not able to borrow money from the banks. No? But over time, with greater clarity on how the economy is moving and with cases going down to 2,600 on a national level as of today, it's bringing about better confidence. And if we can be able to have a really strong Christmas season, this fourth quarter, I think more of those that are still around will be able to bounce back very strongly in towards the year 2022. And I'm looking forward not only to a Merry Christmas, but to a much better year next year in the year 2022.
Sir, the Department of Health is worried that the public will become complacent under alert level 2. Would like to get your insights about this.
I think we really have to understand, and this is where I have a bit of problem with sometimes DOH, why they say that, if cases do rise, then so what if cases go up? Provided those that are getting infected are fully vaccinated. And they will be prevented from severe illness and hospitalization. So while cases are going down now at the lowest level, and it's for real, we in the private sector have to continue to inoculate our employees, whoever is remaining. We're at the tail end of the whole inoculation of our employees. I would say maybe 90% have been already vaccinated. Now, the LGUs and mayors, especially outside NCR, this is the biggest challenge because we've seen in the Octa research showing that vaccine hesitancy at the DE economic level of our Philippine society, the vaccine hesitancy is quite high, especially in the provincial areas. And we have a lot of vaccines now. Secretary Galvez has brought in those vaccines and many more arriving before the end of the year. So we will have much more supply, and I hope that the demand will increase. Because if the demand does not move up and we have the supply, then we will have problems with possible vaccines expiring if the uptake is not there. So the pressure has to really come from both the government and the private sector. And we have to resort to all means to really put more pressure on those unvaccinated to take the vaccines. Because this is the real solution. While cases are going down and may maintain itself at these low levels, there is always a possibility with greater mobility that cases will go up. But if cases go up in areas like the LGUs in NCR, which is 85%, then we should not get scared, even if it goes up.
So, Joey, you mentioned, of course, the vaccine hesitancy in places outside NCR. With that being said, would you recommend, again, these places outside the metro to, let's say, shift to alert level 2 by this November?
Well, it all depends on how the IATF looks at these areas. For example, it's very clear that they have to hit close to 70%. When cases go down, that's one good indication that they can already open up. But we should also look at the level of number of people vaccinated in that LGU. The higher it is, the safer, of course, it will be. Because what we want to see is that, of course, with greater mobility, as I was saying, there is always a possibility for cases to go up. But even if cases go up, but the LGU is almost fully vaccinated or greater than 70%, then there is it's much more safe. So those going to the who get infected most probably will be the vaccinated, and if they are vaccinated, then we don't fill up the hospitals, which causes the lockdown.
Mhm. So, Joey, is the private sector counting on further easing the alert level, perhaps to level one by, let's say, the month of December? And are you no longer expecting the IATF to tighten restrictions in the next coming weeks?
Well, I am. My hopes are high that these cases are really for real. They're going down, and that's what I'm saying. NCR right now is close to 87% vaccinated. In a maybe in a couple of weeks, they'll be hitting 90%. So the higher the percentage of NCR at 90%, then even if cases go up, those cases will be vaccinated people anyway. So they will have a higher protection from severe illness. So the hospitals will not get flooded, and we can continue. So that is our strategy of how we can coexist with this virus. No? And if that happens, no, in all the different LGUs all over the country, the different cities, of course, then we become a stronger bakuna bubble. And I think that's the objective of the vaccines. So even if cases are going down, the vaccination, which is why that we would launch basically Vax to the Max. No? This is very important. This program is what we want to see really push basically vaccination all over the Philippines. We want to get the mayors and the barangay captains to really push for vaccination. No? That's the key to really preventing lockdowns in the future.
Well, thank you, Sir Joey, for sharing with us your time and your insights tonight. That's Mr. Joey Concepcion, a presidential advisor for entrepreneurship. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Meanwhile, senior citizens and children are now allowed on public transportation following Metro Manila's downgrade to Alert Level 2. This was confirmed by MMDA Chairman Benhar Abalos in a radio interview earlier today. With the NCR under more relaxed restrictions, buses, trains, jeeps can now serve up to 70% of their passenger capacities. This is part of the government's efforts to revive the economy, but the Transportation Department has yet to release the complete guidelines for Alert Level 2. Now, as for the latest COVID-19 numbers, the Health Department reports over 2,600 new cases. This has brought the country's total caseload to 2,803,000, some 33,500 of which are still considered active. That's the lowest number of active cases since March 1, or in more than 8 months. Now, the at least 191 more patients were confirmed dead due to the virus in the past 24 hours, pushing the death toll to 44,400. The total number of recoveries, meanwhile, has reached 2,725,000, with 3,900 new survivors logged today. Out of some 48,450 individuals recently tested for COVID-19, 5.2% yielded positive results. Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. Diesel prices and some gasoline products are set to have a rollback after 10 consecutive weeks of price hikes. Uni Oil projects a 40 to 50 centavo price cut per liter in diesel prices and a 90 centavo price cut for gasoline. The Environment Department says the Manila Bay Dolomite Beach could become swimmable by 2022. The agency is now diverting the wastewater from houses to a sewage treatment plant. Floodwaters will also be coursed through a 400-meter-long pipe. Now, from Quezon City to Glasgow in United Kingdom, Filipino climate activists trooped to the streets on the Global Day of Action for Climate Justice. They're calling for drastic emission cuts as well as assistance for communities affected by climate change. Now, for more the Philippine Star and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.